Hi, this is Gary. You may know me from my MacMost videos. This video is a little different. Let me tell you about hiking the Inca Trail. I hiked the Inca Trail in April 2026. If you are thinking of doing the Inca Trail or perhaps already have plans to go, let me tell you all about it so you know what to expect. So first, I want to start off by talking about what the Inca Trail actually is and what makes it different from other multi-day hikes. For one thing, it's not really a trail. That is, it's not like a dirt path through a forest. For the most part, it is a stone path built not by a forestry service or park rangers, but by the Incas more than 600 years ago. There have been some detours, reconstruction, and modernization, but it is mostly the same path built in the 15th century. You are literally following in the footsteps of kings. The Inca, and Inca means king, would use this path to make an annual pilgrimage from the capital in Cusco to Machu Picchu. There were both spiritual and political reasons for this walk. Now, if you've ever read a fantasy book where the characters take a long journey on a quest and wish that you could see what that trail was like, well, this is it. This is the real thing here. And along the way, you will see several major Inca sites and plenty of other Inca buildings. Some of those sites are huge and almost rival Machu Picchu itself, but you'll have them almost all to yourself as only people on the Inca Trail get to be there. You get to roam around and can find yourself in buildings and chambers all alone to take it all in. But the greatest artifact of all is probably not these sites nor Machu Picchu, but the trail itself, and you'll be walking on it. Besides the sights and the trail, the views are also incredible. You'll be going through mountain valleys with peaks all around you. High Andes peaks with snow at the top despite being close to the equator. It's breathtaking. And I'm from Colorado. I mostly hike in the Rockies, so I'm used to jaw-dropping mountain hikes. So take it from me, this is good stuff. Another thing that makes the Inca Trail different than other hikes is the altitude, in two ways. First, you are at high altitude throughout the hike, ranging from 8,000 to 14,000 feet. But you also climb up and down about 9,000 feet in total. So, heavy altitude gain and loss at high altitudes. This hike is also different than any other I have been on because you have to go with a tour company. You can't solo hike it. You can't plan your own trip with friends. You have to sign up with a company that will take you. This was a first for me. I've never done a backpacking trip like this before. And this includes another first for me, porters. Your group will mostly be local porters who carry everything for your group and most of your individual things as well. That means you won't be carrying your own stuff. Your camping gear will be carried by the porters. You'll just have a day pack with the things you need while walking. Often that isn't much more than some water, snacks, and rain gear. So, how do you go about getting there? Well, first you need to choose a company. The company I went with was G Adventures. I went with them on a trip to Africa the year before and I was so impressed that I just decided to skip all the research and I just chose G Adventures for my trip to Peru. And I was impressed this time as well. So going with a tour company like this means you will be with other people who you won't meet until you get to Peru. However, it should be noted that there are ways to use these same companies for private group trips if you wish. But on this trip and in Africa the year before, I very much enjoyed being with a group. I was solo, but quickly bonded with the others who were couples, small groups of friends, and other solo travelers. It turns out I'm fine being a lone wolf and also part of a pack. Another thing you'll need to decide is what else you will do in Peru besides the Inca Trail. Sure, you can just fly there and do the trail, but most trips will involve more places before and or after. And Peru is wonderful. You should definitely spend as much time as you can in Peru. But another reason to arrive early is you want to adjust to the altitude. I had an advantage. Since I'm from Colorado, I live above 5,000 feet, and I regularly venture into the mountains and hike and camp above 10,000 feet. But for most people, you don't want to arrive in the Andes and start the Inca Trail the next day. Front load your trip with time in Puno and or Cusco. Both are beautiful places with plenty to see and do. Cusco was the capital of the Inca Empire. The city is filled with Spanish churches and modern shops and restaurants that are built on top of Inca foundations you can still see. There are amazing sights in and around Cusco and lots of shopping and great food. To get to the Inca Trail from Cusco, you will be traveling up the Sacred Valley, which is filled with Inca sites and other experiences. Then you'll arrive at the town of Ollantaytambo, which is an actual Inca city that is still inhabited today. You'll walk on Inca streets and eat in restaurants inside Inca buildings. And the Wi-Fi has gotten much better since the Incas. If I could set the itinerary, I would spend 2 nights and a full day in between in Cusco. See the sights there. Then I'd spend a whole day traveling up the Sacred Valley. Then a full day after that in Ollantaytambo. That would give you 3 days and 4 nights to adjust to the altitude before hiking. And all that time will be filled with amazing things. So, what is it actually like to hike the Inca Trail? Let's take a look at it. Here's a map of the trail. But it's actually much easier to visualize it as an altitude map. Each company stays at slightly different campsites and has a slightly different itinerary for each day. But for my trip, the first day was only slightly uphill. It was an easy walk after a late start, since you have to ride to the trailhead, go through passport control, and then cross a bridge to get going. On the very first day, you'll get to see the most incredible Inca site, Yactopata, which features both a fantastic view down at the lower part and a hands-on experience at the upper part with barely anyone else around. The second day is mostly uphill. This is the hardest day, but honestly, my short legs and non-athletic body didn't have much of a problem thanks to the frequent breaks and slow but steady pace of the group. You reach the highest point, Dead Woman's Pass, and celebrate the top for a while before starting downhill. This is the only night you sleep at an extremely high altitude, but you're all adjusted by now. The third day is a little uphill past some amazing sights and mountain views. Then you go down, down, down. Before we camped, we could see the backside of Machu Picchu Mountain from the fantastic Inca terraces at Intipada. So let's talk about the last day. This is the weird day because you get up super early. And what a lot of other people will tell you is because you need to race to Machu Picchu to be the first ones there, the first ones to see it. But that's not the actual reason. The reason is because of the porters. The porters need to get all of your stuff, your tent, your sleeping bag, all of your camping gear, and they need to get to a special early train to head back. It's not to get to the Sun Gate first so you can get the best selfies. On this early day, you get to the control gate before Machu Picchu and have to wait until it opens. It is a covered area with benches along the side, and everyone hiking will get there before it opens. If you are up front, you are the first through. But honestly, it isn't an issue. If you're not first, you'll have a perfectly fine view, if there are no clouds, as the earlier people move on quickly, and it doesn't make a real difference. So, how hard is all of this? Can you do it? Well, it's going to depend on a lot of things. The company you're with, your guides, the weather, the people in your group, they are all big factors. As for the trail itself, you're usually walking on the ancient Incan human-placed stones on a path and in steps. You'll be looking down a lot of the time while walking because the steps are never very consistent heights. You don't want to trip. The guides aren't just there to show you the way. They will also give talks at many of the rest stops, telling you about the site and the Inca Trail in general. They also shepherd your group. It seems like there are usually 2 guides like we had, a lead guide who will be near the front or in the middle of your group. There's no need to actually lead the group as there's rarely any trail branching. There's no way to get lost. It's always obvious where to go. The second or assistant guide will almost always stay with the slowest member of the group, which makes sense. But in all cases, with our guides, the rest stops were a chance for everyone to catch up and be together anyway. And that was always the case. After being at the rest stops for a few minutes, the slowest people usually caught up and we were all there, and the guides would tell us about various things that we were seeing. Here's another weird thing about the Inca Trail. During the first half of the hike, there will be snacks. Really. You're going to come across rest areas where locals have set up little snack tables and stores. You can get bottled water, Gatorade, chips, candy, even beer and liquor. But note that after Dead Woman's Pass on the second day, there'll be no more snack stands. There are bathrooms at these rest stops as well, although you have to pay for them, but they're very cheap. And then on the second half of the hike, there are free bathrooms, and there are also going to be bathrooms at lunch and at your campsites, sometimes provided by the camp, sometimes by your tour company. The cleanliness levels of these bathrooms is going to vary greatly. Bring wipes, bring toilet paper, and make sure anything you bring into the bathrooms is in little sealed plastic bags and easy to keep off the ground. A lot of things add up to make the hike easier and doable by almost anyone. The slow, steady pace, lots of breaks, a light day pack because the porters carry most of your stuff, encouragement and advice from the guides, the snacks, the bathrooms, the 3 meals a day served to you, and virtually no camp setup or takedown, plus the camaraderie of your group. I found this to be one of the easiest multi-day hikes I have ever done. Food is another thing that highly depends on the company you go with. With G Adventures, we had 4 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also an afternoon tea between the last two. The meals were excellent, fresh from local sources, and dinner always included a dessert. A few more things I want to mention about what it's like to be on the trail. The Inca sites along the trail are stunning. I can't stress that enough. And you can just roam around inside them with none of the crowds and designated paths you'll have at Machu Picchu. Then behind them, you'll have incredible mountain views. I mean, if the Inca sites weren't there at all, this would still be a trail people would travel to Peru to hike. Oh, and as a bonus, there are llamas and alpacas too, and they seem to know just the right moment to wander into the frame of your photos and become great subjects. Okay, so I know another thing people ask about is how to prepare for this trip. I did kind of train for it. But by that, I mean I just walked a lot. For about 4 months before the trip, I took one morning each weekend and walked 8 to 12 miles. Nothing special, mostly around the city, heading to a distant coffee shop or lunch spot. I just got my body used to walking. Next, I recommend getting a good day pack. Something like an Osprey Daylight Plus. You have the opportunity to rent a sleeping bag, pad, and walking poles. I have all of those, but I thought I would lighten my load for the plane trips and the rest of the tour by just renting the bag and the pad. I also thought that your weight limit for the duffel bag that goes with the porters would count your own sleeping bag, but not a rented one. Someone actually said that in a video I saw, and it was very wrong. So I ended up with a big, heavy rented sleeping bag that was overkill. If I had brought my own bag, it would have given me much more room and been much more comfortable to sleep in. But renting is still a good call in some ways. For me, it was wrong though. As soon as you arrive in Peru, start accumulating spare change and small bills. You want to have a handful of 1 soles coins for toilets and 10 and 20 soles notes for buying things at the snack stands. Your tour company is going to send you a long list of things to take with or prepare. Follow that. Bring the sunscreen. Bring the bug spray. Bring a hat. You'll want to have all of that. I didn't get a single bug bite the whole time, but they were around. I put on the bug spray and I was careful. Others who showed a lot more skin got bites and mild sunburn. Oh, and you'll hear that you should bring a rain poncho. You know, those cheap plastic things. I never use those. But something told me I should grab one at the last minute. And yes, I did use it. The rain on the last day would have eventually gotten through my rain jacket, so it was a good call. Okay, one last thing, and I know this is going to sound corny, but experienced hikers already know this. Bring a positive attitude. Expect things to go wrong or there to be some unpleasantness here and there, like bad weather, a meal that you don't like, a few bug bites, a lost or forgotten item. Roll with it. This is an adventure. Look at overcoming small difficulties as part of the experience. And keep in mind, both good and bad attitudes are contagious. Don't bring yourself or others down when something is less than perfect. But often point out to others the beautiful views, the connection you feel to history, and how incredible it is that you get to do this. The attitude you carry with you into the hike will be reflected back onto you 10 times. I hope you found this video useful. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments. Thanks for watching.